which is the study of meaning. And we have seen the definition of semantics, that semantic is the study of the meanings of individual words, phrases, and sentences. And we have taken one example from Noam Chomsky's syntactic structure published in 1957. And the sentence goes like this: colorless green ideas sleep furiously. We have discussed that though this sentence is perfectly grammatical, but there are issues related to conveying meaning and appropriateness. Though it is grammatical, but this sentence is not conveying any meaning and therefore it is not appropriate. So we need to understand that what we say must be grammatically correct. At the same time, it must convey some meaning. That means it must pass the criterion of appropriateness. Then we have also discussed Frege's principle of compositionality. So how a sentence is composed and how a sentence gives meaning to us, or how we get a meaning from a sentence, it depends upon at least two things according to Frege's principle of compositionality. First thing is the meaning of the words in the sentence. So the speaker listeners, they must know the meaning of the words in the sentence. And second thing is that they must know the grammatical structure of the sentence. So far, this principle of compositionality is fine. There is no problem. But once there is a sentence which is ambiguous, or a word which is ambiguous, then we find certain problems. And we have taken the example from the sentence, she loves me more than you. Now here there are two meanings: she loves me more than you love me, and she loves me more than she loves you. Now here, though we know the individual meanings of particular words and we know the grammatical structure of the sentence, but still there is an ambiguity, and we do not know that whether the speaker wants to convey that she loves me more than you love me, or she loves me more than she loves you. So when there is an ambiguous utterance or sentence, Frege's principle of compositionality finds some problems. And the solution of these problems lies in the context. And not only any context, but the knowable context. If we know the context, then we can very well guess that what is the meaning of the sentence. And as we know that a knowable context is also known as discourse. And Mikhail Bakhtin describes meaningful, knowable context as concrete living totality. And the meaning is that we use our past knowledge, we use our linguistic language experiences, we use our situational and lingual competence in order to find the meaning of a text in a particular context. We have seen that the concept of prototypes or prototypes meanings, they also play a crucial role in an understanding of a text. And we have discussed that the prototypical meaning comes very close to the central meaning of the word. We have seen with the example of the definition of a bird. So we know that the concept in our mind for a bird is a creature that is very light, or a creature that has feathers, a creature that is very small, a creature that can fly. So when someone says think of a bird, we think of robin, we think of sparrow, we think of crow, we think of eagle, but very rarely we think of ostrich. Very rarely we think of penguin, though they are bird. Similarly, when it comes to think about a fish, then we think of dolphin, then we think of starfish, but we also know that whale is also a fish, like a dolphin. So when we use certain phrases, strictly speaking or technically, we want to emphasize that these objects, these animals, they they are not good or good member of that particular category. Either like uh, like we have this a penguin, like we say penguin is a bird, but penguin cannot fly. Ostrich is a bird, but ostrich cannot fly. So they are not good member of a particular type of animal or particular type of uh, let's say object that we have. So when we study semantics, then there is one field that is known as lexical semantics. So first we will study the aims of lexical semantics. The first aim is to represent the meaning of each word in the language. That is the first aim. And what do we mean by to represent the meaning of each word in the language? That means we define the word, we know how particular word is pronounced, we know the grammatical category of that particular word, and we also know the usage of that particular word. That is the first aim of lexical semantics. And second aim of lexical semantics is to show how the meanings of words in a language are interrelated. When I say John loves Mary, there are three words. John is a name of a person. Mary is a name of a person. Proper noun. Loves here is a verb and a transitive verb. Now these words, they are interrelated with each other. And how they are interrelated with each other? Because if I say John loves Mary, then you can have a concept of this because you know what is loving. How can one person love to another person? But if I say my mobile loves my laptop, you will say what, my mobile or your mobile loves your laptop. You know the meaning of love, you know the meaning of mobile, you know the meaning of laptop. But you will say there is some problem in this construction. There is some problem because how can an object, how can something that is inanimate can love another inanimate? We can love. We can show our love to our mobile. We can show our love to our laptop. But we can't say my mobile loves me. You can say I love my mobile, but not the other way around. So that means we know the meaning of the word and how one word is associated with other word. These two aims are the aims of lexical semantics. Now we have one example here. I saw my father just now. I is the pronoun. My is also a pronoun here. And whosoever is saying I, we know that I is in the subject position, therefore I is the speaker. and the term father is used, we know that whosoever is a father is also a man, a mature man, an adult man, that we also know. So though these things are not inherent, these things are not overtly said, openly said, but we very well understand because we know the meaning of each word. What is the meaning of seeing? What is the meaning of just? What is the meaning of now? We know individual meanings. At the same time, we also know what is the relation. If someone is saying, I saw my father just now, then who is I? I can be a son, I can be a daughter. So this meaning is not explicitly explained here, that who is I. But since we use language, we know that someone who is saying, I saw my father just now, that means either a son or a daughter is saying this thing. So lexical semantics deals with these type of issues. Individual meaning of the word and how one word interacts or is interrelated with other word. So in the previous sentence, we have drawn inferences, like who is I. Similarly, we can also draw certain conclusions from an utterance. Now, if the utterance is my firm manager has just been murdered, so there is a relation of entailment. That means what this sentence implies. This sentence implies that my firm manager is dead. It entails, if someone has just been murdered, that means the person is no more now. The person is not alive. So this, the first utterance entails the second, but the second sentence does not entail the first. If the first sentence, let's say, is my firm manager is dead, then it does not entail that my firm manager has just been murdered. Why? Because a person can die from various ways, and murder is one such way. So sentence 1 can entail sentence 2, but sentence 2 cannot entail sentence 1. This thing you need to understand. Entailment is not a relationship of synonymy. And if my firm manager is dead, then there is an inference. And what is that inference? My firm will be getting a new manager. So this is the inference, because the firm will not stop after the death of the manager or after the manager has just been murdered. So they will employ some other person. So what is the inference here? My firm will be getting a new manager. So these two types of relationship of entailment and relationship of inference, they are also related to an utterance. So you can infer so many things. If the sentence is Mary drives her car to the office daily. Again, I repeat, Mary drives her car to the office daily. Now, what does it mean? What does it infer? First thing is, Mary is a working woman. Mary knows driving. Mary possesses a car. and Mary goes to her office daily. So all such things we can infer. So this is like one sentence is said, but there are so many layers of meaning that are associated with that particular utterance. And that is also the part of semantics that we have seen. Another such utterance is John has failed in linguistics exam. John has not passed his linguistic exam. So someone has failed, that means someone has not passed. So this entailment is there. Either way, we can say if someone says like John has not passed his linguistics exam, then it means John has failed his linguistic exam. And if we say John has failed his linguistic exam, then it means John has not passed his linguistic exam. So here they mean the same thing. Here again the entailment is there, but they mean the same thing. And what is the inference here? How can we associate more meaningfulness with this type of utterance? So we can say that John can't bank on a glittering career as a linguist. So someone who has failed in the exam cannot have a glittering career as a linguist. Someone who has not passed his linguistic exam cannot have a glittering career, cannot become a professional linguist. So every utterance, it has a layers of meaning associated with it. And we need to find out what are those layers. So there is a concept of lemma in semantics. Now we will discuss what is this concept of lemma. So there are two or three sentences here. First sentence is he walks like a duck. He is walking like a duck. He walked like a duck. Now there are three words. First one is walks, second one is walking, and third one is walked. If I ask what is common in these three words, you will say walk. That means all these three words, they have the same lexeme, walk. But at one place it is used as present indefinite. At one place it is used as present continuous, and at other place it is used as past simple. So walks, walking, and walked, they are not lexeme actually. They are grammatical word. Because when I say he walks, you know the tense also. When I say he is walking, you know the aspect and tense as well. And when I say he walked, then you also know the aspect and tense. So these three are not lexeme. Lexeme is only walk here. And these three are grammatical word. Samuel Johnson, in his A Dictionary of the English Language, uses the infinitive as the entry form. And what is that? To walk. So that means to walk is your lemma. And it can become walks, it can become walking, it can become walked, depending upon tense and time. So this concept is also important, and every word has a lemma, and the different forms that we have of that particular lemma is known as the grammatical word that we have. So in the next class we will study homonyms, homophones, and what is the relationship of different words, and how how they are semantically related to each other. So we stop here, and this is for the day. If you have any question, you can ask me.